Let's open this up. We have Sudha Halkai, spokesperson from the BJP, Bhavya Narasimhamurthy from the Congress, also with us, Professor Akash Deep Muni, Associate Dean from Adamas University with us as well. First, let me take this to the BJP spokesperson, or in fact the Congress spokesperson, because before our viewers today who are watching this, of course, leave this debate, they need to get clarity as to what the Congress is saying or what the DMK is saying about how is this saffronization of education. If you could tell us, Bhavya. How is the NEP saffronization of education?
So, when it's about education, it's more important to make sure the children learn how to make informed choice. You know, which ideology they choose, it should depend on an informed choice. It should be an informed choice. Instead, the current NEP, it's literally forcing one of its ideology on the children. That's not how education should be. There are two things that happened in Karnataka. One, the textbook review during the BJP regime. And as you know, when the textbook review happened, there was a lot of opposition to it. And we have even included that whether it is textbook review or the NEP, both of them will be scrapped when we come to power. It's in our manifesto.
Well, Bhavya, the textbook review is over. The BJP has revised it. You came back and you made the changes as well. We are talking about NEP, which they're planning to formulate, this policy for every state to follow. But the opposition coming, let's stick to NEP at the moment.
Yes. So when it comes to the practicality of NEP, one, the way it speaks about specialized education and, you asked me about saffronization. It gives this multi-entry, multi-exit system. Whether if you can just attend 2 years of your degree and walk out of it with a diploma and then join again. When it comes to this, this somehow reiterates what happened in the past. For those who are socially backward, they might not really get a degree owing to their poverty. They might just walk out of it. But when we have a 3-year degree, a minimum qualification to get a degree, when they don't have an option to exit, that means they will complete the
like I
degree.
said, I want the viewers who are watching this debate today to get out of this debate knowing why the Congress and the DMK is opposing with the term that this is saffronization of education. Because if you could cite examples, because in Karnataka, NEP has already been implemented. Now, there are several students, of course, who are studying under this ambit. So when you say saffronization, give us examples so that we can ask the BJP, because we have the spokesperson on the panel, about why are they doing this.
Whether it is Sanskrit.
Because if you are opposing it every time and saying that is the RSS ideology into the textbooks, tell us why do you think NEP is doing it?
First thing is about imposition of Hindi. Where, like, India is a diverse country, of course, and we are very proud of our language. And why would we be forced to learn Hindi? That should be a choice again, like it was previously. That's one thing. That's very clear that, BJP's ideology is about one nation, one language, one food, one, way of dressing or whatever. This is not what our country is. Our country is a very diverse country. That's on one thing. And it's not just that. Recently, many educational institutions, many educationists, activists, they conducted a big conference and invited the ministers of Karnataka. They have given us a memorandum requesting us to scrap NEP. And this particular conference was held by only the educationists and the education institutions.
Okay, let's get this firstly. Okay, one by one. Let's go one by one today. Let's go one by one. Bhavya, you've spoken about Hindi imposition. Let's bring in Sudha into the debate. Sudha, they're talking about how you're imposing Hindi. It's happened in the past. The BJP has been charged with this allegation that, you've tried to impose Hindi on multiple levels. Be it in the banking sector, be it in the, name boards at the metro stations, now at the textbooks of the students and the option to, study the language. So if you want to bring in a national education policy, considering the diversity of the country, why bring in, one standard of language? Why not give the option from state to state to make their choices there?
Deepak, let me tell, I really feel immensely proud that it is not now that my party has thought about it. It was way back in 1966 when Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji had chaired a session and he had told that every state has the right to give the regional languages as the first priority, and this is what we have done now. Where was Congress all these years? Almost 60 years they have ruled our country, and the other parties, did they ever think of giving the regional languages their first priority? And diversity, they're talking about diversity. It is my party who gave the rights of diversity, who respected the diversity, and 28 languages have been given the choice for any state. They can implement their regional languages from 3 years to 8 years. That is the first 5 years of the foundation years of the new education policy. So what they're talking about implementing Hindi, I don't understand. Where were they all these years? And second thing is, I really feel that they are scared now, because this new education policy is going to make the children, the youth of our country, self-reliant, skilled, and not dependent on anybody for their bread and butter. And they are really going to be knowledgeable and wisdom-oriented. So they are scared that, the people of the youth of our country and our children will become educated, and they'll not fall into these false traps of theirs like freebies and all. So they're really scared. And the one thing what they're doing is they're playing the card of vindictiveness. They're playing the card of corruption. They're playing the card of dictatorship. Vindictiveness, I'll tell you. One is the farmers' bill they have cancelled, where they were giving 4,000 to the farmers. Now, whatever good is being done to the people by the BJP government.
You're saying they're being vindictive. Let me bring in Akash, Professor Akash as well here. Sudha, let's bring in a neutral perspective here to try and understand as far as NEP itself. Professor, what do you feel as far as NEP is concerned when you look at the entire policy and how it's been drafted? Do you think it's going to be beneficial for the student? And I would also like to ask you, because that's a bigger debate, that there is a leaning towards the ideology of a particular party is what the allegation has been coming from, especially in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu as well. Do you see that when you look at the entire draft?
Deepak, I'm so happy that you have kept this debate, because our country needs to know about this. First and foremost, when this particular educationist who came to the Education Minister of Karnataka, they came to Education Minister of Karnataka citing that if they conduct the classes as per NEP, they will be going for MDC, that is multidisciplinary courses, and open elective and open minors. Now, the problem with these courses is that they didn't have faculty for this running these courses. That is why they opposed, not because of Hindi or saffronization, actually. Interestingly, I'll give you an example of my school where we are faculty sufficient, and that is why we can run this NEP and implement this in education policies. Now, the problem, one thing which I want to cite is that national education policy it's really unfortunate that politicians have very little knowledge about it, that it is not that you won't get a degree before 3 years. It is that multiple entry and multiple exit. Actually, in otherwise, it empowers the students. How it empowers them, that if a student comes and studies for 1 year and after that goes through some untoward incident, he or she does not need to give up the studies. She can go out of that, and the credit can go into the credit bank. And then later on, that credit, after 2 years, the student can start from the second year itself, not study the first year. This was not previously done. Now, the problem with putting different education policies in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, in India, now the student will suffer, because today education is not about one person. Education goes from, if a student goes from one state to other. So in this case, having different education policy really makes students suffer. I would suggest that NEP should be implemented, and let's see that in the next 10 years how it brings out the changes. As we want to be Vishwaguru, but we have only 2 universities in this whole world in India which are in top 200 ranking. So if we want more universities in top 200 ranking, we have to trust this NEP which has been composed by educationists. And later on, we can test that if it is not being proper in the next 10 years, 20 years, of course we can change it. But we should give it a try at present.
Okay, Professor Akash, give us some clarity, because when Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, at least from the education departments and from the government level, they say Hindi is being imposed through NEP. Do you see that happening?
No, see, this is Deepak. It is otherwise. Hindi is not imposed, but you are given number of other choices. Like for example, in northern India, if a student wants to study Tamil, so student can take a subject in Tamil. Now the problem is why some universities are not wanting it to be implemented is that they don't have faculties. I think the government should bring in more faculties, should equip them, and permanent faculties, not ad hoc faculties. I have been always talking about this mission that we have to make education politics free, and we have to make education autonomous. And I request all the political parties that me, Akash Puri, want to request you that please don't politicize education. Let educationers take the decision on education rather than political parties. This is my humble request. We have to secure a future of our future generation.
Well, that isn't very easily going to happen because, be it the revision of textbooks, hardly any, neutral professors are going to be asked, because whenever you have textbook revisions, it's going to be done. The BJP is going to come and, have heads of that particular community, committee be somebody who's inclined towards the ideology of the BJP. And then the Congress comes back and has somebody who's inclined to the ideology of the Congress. Why do you have to really make it an ideological battle for the students is the question that comes up.
Deepak, I want to make a mark on this. See, I would like to tell that we are not focusing on the ideology or something. We are focusing on the empowering the students and the children and the youth of our country. First thing. Second thing is by taking away...
So you cannot say that because, the whole time, there was a big debate happening across the country about Savarkar, his contribution, the opposition coming in from the Congress. And then you have, Savarkar as mentioned in the textbook. So this is something that has happened. So you cannot say that, what you're talking about, your ideology is not something that is making a mention in the textbooks. So it has found its way.
Deepak. See, Savarkar ji is not only our ideology. He is a person where every Indian, 140 crore Indians have to respect what he has done for the sacrifice he has done for the independence of our country. First thing. Second thing is they're talking about removing NEP. Where will the students of Karnataka stand in the future when they have to appear for the national level exams where all other state students have gone through the syllabus of NEP and these people have gone through the SCP? How are they going to coordinate and come up with those national level exams? Aren't they going to be put down over there? Why the Karnataka government is not thinking? Congress government is only having a policy of
two things. Let's ask the Congress, because we had Professor Akash say that there is no imposition of Hindi that's happening here. In fact, the choices are with the students. But the problem lies because Sudha, let's have Bhavya answer this, because the Congress is now planning to make this change. Bhavya, because the issue of faculty is being raised by the professor here. Sudha, we'll come back. Let's have Bhavya respond to this.
Practical. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. When it is not practical to give equal opportunity for students to learn every language, what does it say? When you have faculty for Hindi to teach in other states, and you don't have
shortage of faculty is something that you can fix at the state level.
What does it say? Is this just? First thing,
shortage of language, shortage of faculty for their own regional language is not justifiable.
When you say, ma'am, I didn't really speak when you were speaking. I expect you also to respect my time here.
Definitely.
So, when it comes
to
even the specializations, do we really have the teaching faculty for that? You really think with NEP we can give the same quality of education both in villages and cities? No, we can't. And when it comes to saffronization, let me please quote something from the NEP document. It says all curriculum and pedagogy from the foundational stage onwards will be redesigned to be strongly rooted in Indian and local context and ethos in terms of culture, traditions, heritage, customs, language, philosophy, geography, ancient and contemporary knowledge, societal and scientific needs, indigenous and traditional ways of learning, etc. If everything in education is rooted in this, where is globalization? What will the students go out in the world and compete with others who are getting education at a global level? If they want to propose Hindutva through education, of course, people who built this nation, unlike Savarkar, who wrote mercy petition, and I don't really think 140 crore Indians will respect that, we people who have actually given blood and sweat to get freedom, our party, we will stand for the right ethos of India,
while we are discussing this, Bhavya, I've just been told that we have a reaction of Udayanidhi Stalin. In fact, he's spoken exclusively to us. We're just going to put that out and come back to all our guests once again. Just stay with us.
Udayani Stalin, sir, the DMK has announced a protest. The student wing has announced a protest against NEET. What do you have to say about it, sir?
Yeah, we have announced a protest.
So,
It's not only the student wing, the youth wing.
the doctors wing and
Doctors-
youth wing have also announced a protest. And what do you have to tell about Hindi imposition law that's been erupting recently, sir?
We will always oppose Hindi imposition. That's the only thing I can say now.
So 2 lives have been lost in the last week in Tamil Nadu because of NEET.
That is the main reason we are having the protest. We have for the last 4 or 5 years we have been totally against NEET. We want the union government to understand and
Sir, the anti-NEET bill is still with the president. The president has...
that is the reason we are having the protest. We want the president to sign the bill and give NEET.
Sir, the DMK is accusing you of not fulfilling the poll
I
promise.
don't want to accuse anybody. Right now, we want ban from NEET. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, that was the son of the Chief Minister there going on to say that protest is going to be held against NEET. Yet another opposition, of course, to a centre's decision or a policy in terms of education. Professor Akash, we were just discussing and we had Bhavya say that the shortage of professors or faculty is a concern, and if it's not addressed, bringing in the NEP is just going to put students at a disadvantage, especially those in the rural areas.
See, I'll tell all my fellow panelists that we need to focus on academics. Like in this particular case, if you say that we don't have faculty, so people will be unprivileged. I think you should be bringing more faculty in, which is why you can see in central and state universities there has been ample amount of faculty need, not only before after implementation of NEP, but before implementation of NEP as well. What about that? One thing, we need to know about Savarkar and we need to know about Salman Rushdie. Education cannot be limited. That is the nature of education. So banning culture, changing the curriculum by any political party, be it BJP or Congress, that is not proper. We should focus on developing our universities, its infrastructure. Like what has been done in Delhi schools, we can do the
Here
same
in Karnataka and eventually happened. The question that I had asked the panelists then, and I'm going to ask today is, do you think that you can put the priority of, ensuring that the quality of education of students is given the maximum priority? You can have people from even the Congress party or whoever the Congress chooses, whoever the JDS chooses, whoever the BJP chooses, have all of them in consensus so that the students don't have to go through these changes time and again.
See, Deepak, I have been telling you, first thing is, earlier also Swami Vivekananda ji, who's known as Narendra Datta, he had told that, we should have an education policy, which is man-making policy, okay? And now this is implemented by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji again now. And this policy is a man-making policy, okay? And the earlier education policy was given by Lord Michael, who had written to his father that, I have set up an education policy where only there's going to be difference in the color, but the culture, my culture, the British culture is going to be put into the education system, and they are going to be the upbringing of the children will be based on that. So why we shouldn't think of a different culture after 75 years of our independence, and why we shouldn't make our children skillful, talented, and give them more opportunities, as Dr. Akash told that, Professor Akash told that, if they come up with one year of diploma course in something skill education and they want to shift on, and that 1 year will be credited. Why this shouldn't be done when we can see there's a lot of unemployment by the earlier education policy. With this education policy, we are going to get more employment. And regarding the faculties, yes, you should employ more faculties in the regional languages. By this, you are going to give more employment as well. So please, you should accept this. Don't go just do politics over here.
Sudha, while of course you can tell the Congress that you need to employ more, faculty members. Since you've implemented it in 2021 here in Karnataka, the BJP cannot say that they have ensured that all the gaps that have been filled as far as the faculty vacancies is concerned, the BJP didn't fill it.
When it comes to Karnataka,
So there was, of course, the onus on you to do it as well.
Deepak, I take a tap on my back by saying that Karnataka was the first state to implement NEP, and it was not only taking NEP, taking unicorn startups or anything, it has been on the topmost list in the nationwide. And we have been very smart enough in
Okay.
taking up the intellectual schemes and implementing it, and we have been successful in doing so. So what's wrong in that?
Right. Right. We are running short of time on this debate, but of course this issue is not something that's going to die down. We're going to come back to all our guests who've joined us today to open up yet another debate on this matter, because the Congress at this point in time has decided that it's going to have a state education policy. The formula is going to be decided very soon. We're going to be opening this up when it does happen. I thank all our panelists. We're going to be moving on to another story that's